Thank you.
Thanks for your input.
And I know this is outside the box, and it's a large scope, and it came up quick. Done a lot of work in the last 5 weeks to at least identify the red flags and the ankle biters and address them the best I can. I promise that after the Parks and Rec meeting and my team is back in town, back in the country, we'll be able to solve some of these issues. And there might be issues down at the very end. The only way to get around it is, you know, if we want to have an event, the town either does it or we hire somebody to do it for us. Okay? Because we tried with volunteers, we tried with the past, and some have been successful, some have not. We just want to do something. We want to have that annual event that brings revenue into the town, and parks revenue, because the next agenda item will have something to do with this. They're looking for ways to grow the parks without using tax money. And this is something the Parks and Rec is trying to do to increase their budget.
Gotcha.
And I guess, you know, I agree with Mr. Clark. You know, I think we need to have some type of town event. My only concern is that are we going from nothing to something, you know, so big that we don't want to fail at what we do. In other words, that's, you know, and I guess I'm looking at this thinking, you know, we've got it scheduled for 25th, 26th, 27th. Would you consider just doing it the 26th and 27th, dropping that Friday night?
That's when the campers come in. If we just do the campers Friday night and no public out there, because that's really what we're planning.
So I can almost see coming in Friday night and then ending it Saturday night, being done. Everybody heads back Sunday, safe for traveling.
But you don't want to have Swan Song out there. You don't want to have a $3,000 band out there in the middle of the day, in the middle of the evening, underneath the shade. Then they go back to their camper. I mean, the people that are going to be there are the people that are camping there and the people that are following that band. They're not going to come at 3 o'clock in the afternoon in the heat, in my opinion. I think it needs to be in the evening.
Well, if you're talking October,
Could still be 100.
well, it could be, but, you know, it minimizes, in my mind, the chance for inclement weather in terms of tornadoes or something of that nature.
Wish you got a lot of be prepared.
Yeah.
I don't want to ruffle any feathers.
Well,
And I'm not trying to be a downer on it. On the other hand, I think, you know, maybe give it till August 1st and see what, you know, if we knew for sure we had sponsorships, you know, that's the main thing to me. If you can get because
Right now, I feel like I don't even have the ability to get those sponsorships because I can't get the town to say yes.
Well,
I made it last
I think we, you know, we're gonna take a vote on here in a second, we move on. I think he did advise of everybody in the room that said something. The advice that came from the corner over there, the advice, all the way around Bruce.
Yeah.
We put it back on next month's agenda for July. So it's on the July agenda, it's on the August agenda, and then we get it decided that time of the month. There we go, if the council decides to move
But
forward.
I need approval for the date and the website and the marketing today,
Okay.
so that I can get the campers locked in another.
Good part, Christie satisfied with the church, I mean, it needs to be, you know, the entire group's gotta be in on this. So if not,
If the entire group's in on it, then I also think the entire group needs to be able to help fund it. If the town wants to have an event, maybe the town needs to provide some money for it, so it's not solely dependent on volunteers and the parks budget. I mean, I don't know, if we want to have an event that's going to benefit our town, benefit our economic development, or not development, but if we get some tax dollars for people buying gas and ice, I mean, I don't know, if you want to have an event, let's go all in,
well, I mean.
or tell me not to do it.
Right, I mean, you could say all in, you could say that includes EDC, that includes the town budget, you know, I mean, if we're gonna start forecasting our budget for next year, and this thing works out pretty good, and it's to the parks down,
Yeah.
or you break even, then we can put it in next year's budget, or we do something different. But to me, in my mind, I think it's a park-sponsored event, just like that happened in the past when we had them at Airway Park.
Except.
And if the profits come out of that,
Never
where's it gonna go?
charge
Is it gonna be divided amongst the town and parks, or how does that?
Pay back the different departments that participated on the overtime rates that we discussed.
What's left over goes where?
Parks.
Well, I mean, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're asking the town to flip it, and if it doesn't work, then the town eats it. But if it does work, the park is.
So they want all the good, but none of the bad. I get it.
Yes, Chris?
Just, the town has budgeted $3,200 for events and park and rec, so it's not that the town has not budgeted for events. If you'll look at the budget, we budgeted $3,200, and we've consistently done that through the years.
Yeah, but I didn't want to take away from the Christmas event. or-
That is not in the
That's
Christmas
not-
event, that's strictly park and rec.
What was
If you look
that?
on your park and rec budget, that's
Okay.
strictly park and rec.
So I can count on 3,200 additional revenue plus whatever I can get.
200 has been spent.
How much?
200 has
200.
been spent towards whatever event.
Right.
And then also I need to say, I did do a $500 check to First Baptist for the event. So that's 700 that's been spent, because this is just through May 31st. And I wrote that check for the dinner.
So go
For
2,700, go 2,700, not 3,000,
No, it would be 25.
25.
Of course, this is not in next year's budget.
This
That's
is,
this-
no, that's this year's budget.
Right, but the event would fall into next year's
Exactly.
budget.
But I just want to make the point that the town has set aside funds for events.
Okay. We hadn't considered using any of that. We're trying to go outside. But if we're gonna have to have everything that's needed to get everybody comfortable, multiple officers, and, you know, if we have to pay a project manager, or if there's something that we've gotta get to a certain comfort level, it's gonna cost us more than just what I'm capable of doing and what Tom Watt's capable of.
And I guess, why is Parks hesitant to spend park money on this?
We didn't think we had any, or everything's allocated. Looking at what we've got for the rest of the year, it wasn't on the radar that we had the 25. So that's great.
But I mean, there's money in the parks budget.
You can't use,
You
you
can't-
can't revenue, you
You
can't
can't
use
use
the
it
event.
for revenues
money.
for events. You have to
Yes.
use that for
For
maintenance.
park.
Yes.
Right.
For maintenance and improvements.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like the concept of doing something, and I admire the ability to take risks. Risk can have its rewards as well as its failures. I just personally found the whole thing so overwhelming, I wasn't sure it was going to be able to be pulled off and be a ongoing kind of thing. I'd hate to see us get a black eye or failure to do so because of unexpected or unplanned, but, you know, maybe all those folks from Aspen have gotten older, they've matured.
Well, I hear like, why Volkswagens? It's bringing Corvettes or see, you know, but it's this group that came to us and they look pretty solid. I don't know. Volkswagens are my passion.
Everybody, his brother.
Any other discussion before we take this to vote?
One more comment, and I don't think it's a bad idea, Chris, to cap it at 100 vans, bugs, wagons, whatever they're called, the first time around, maybe 150 at most. Maybe it's the first 150 signed up, that helps you. Then you're going to control numbers at least a little better. Space-wise, you're probably a better fit for you as well, just to try it first year, and then maybe you grow the next year to 200, 250, whatever that number is. But saying that, Mayor, I'm ready to make a motion.
Okay. Councilman Kenny?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we move forward with the Parks and Recs event to be held at Sycamore Bend Park in October 2013. 25th, 26th, 27th was the dates recommended in conjunction with Arbor Day.
Okay, Councilman Kenny's been a motion, a second.
Are we gonna include anything about date to have?
Drop dead date.
Fail safe should be in there.
Anyone want a second?
I'll make a second.
Okay, discussion? Someone add that to
I
it?
think we need to add in to that motion that
Fail safe.
the fail-safe date is the August council.
And that's fair to both.
And what's that criteria for the fail-safe? Just so I can go back to Parks and Rec and spell it out. August 2013, full funding?
I'd like to see full funding for it, yeah, by that date, I think 2 months out. You better have full funding by then.
What other criteria?
Now, you may not have all your campers signed up, right? But, you know, I think the town manager is satisfied with contingency plans, all of the safety plans
Okay.
that be approved by the town manager before.
Well, safety is one thing, Roger's never gonna approve the alcohol thing, and I get that, and I respect that.
Y'all approve it? That's fine. That's up to y'all.
I don't wanna see what I saw at Arlene's and Waters and whiskey bottles on the road,
Yeah.
but that's, in my opinion, that's a lot different from a can of beer from a guy that's camping out there. And every event out there has alcohol at it, and we're just not gonna be competitive if we don't. No matter, morally or ethically, we're a town and we've gotta serve all people.
It is,
In my opinion.
it's just, I've seen problems with them. I don't think it's a good example for kids. You got scouts out there, I don't think it's a good example. That's just me.
Well,
Well,
We're
we're
still
still
in
in this
discussion.
discussion, so
Okay.
there's two things added to it at this point.
okay, the Roger satisfied, full funding. Should we move away from family friendly? Should I forget the bubble lady, the petting zoo, the animal, and let's just concentrate on a different crowd? Maybe that's a bad idea.
That might be a better idea.
Well, and that's what, I think, if you try to be all things to all people, that's when events fall apart.
Okay.
I think if you can focus on who your crowd is, and, let's make sure that we meet that target audience, and, not necessarily try to do kids events and,
So I give that feedback to Parks to look at mixing the children's activities and targeting.
just kind of focus in
Yeah.
on the group.
Yeah, Roger?
I just want to say, Councilman Gordon, whoever you have planning that event, I don't know if it's Tom, if it's Porter, I would be glad to sit down with them if you got a meeting call with them and y'all talking about it. To
Correct.
help any way I can. I mean,
Get Roger involved. Absolutely, yeah, we'll rope you in. So right now, it's just been me because everybody's been so busy with Tops and Tom's been out of the country. Eric, you got, Boy Scout stuff coming up, which is, great leaders in our community already. Glad to have them as volunteers. And the second caveat to it is maybe when Parks and Rec, when we go back and we analyze this, maybe we decide that we're just gonna do the car show. We're just gonna open up for campers and not the public. I will express all the concerns, and if we don't think we can handle bringing the public in, we'll just let these car people do what car people do, and it'll just be closed off to them for the weekend, and that'll be a whole new proposal.
And that's a start. Make sure
I'd
everything's-
rather see us have a really successful event
Yeah.
and then grow it than
That's fair.
to fail the first year.
By the next agenda item, you'll realize Parks is looking for revenue, not just success.
Yeah,
So that's what's
I
driving.
understand, but I think this event, if it blows up, we're in trouble. But if we can have a really successful, Volkswagen event, I think it gives a stepping stone to go off.
Absolutely.
Councilman Kenny made a motion, Councilman Carter seconded to additions. Councilman Pruitt, anyone? Aye. Councilman Gordon?
Aye.
Okay, passes, thank you. Let's move on to item B13, consider an act on Hickey Creek employees instructing park visitors to utilize Ventec paint stations on July 4th, 6th, and 7th from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Arrowhead Park, Point Vista Park, and Sycamore Bend Park.
This is me again. Everybody get the D13 handouts. And once again, I apologize for not having these available in the advance packet. Solely my responsibility. The reason this is on here is Parks and Rec has been talking a lot about revenue being generated by Ventec machines, and we all agree they're working great, and it's been a good thing. But we did a gap analysis, and we're still missing some revenue. So to go through the spreadsheets that you have, and the reason revenue is important, as was discussed, is the parks don't grow if we don't fund certain activities. We've got a new pavilion coming, we've got new park equipment coming, thanks to EDC. We've got some really great parks, and we want to stay competitive, and as Mr. Dupree indicated, we've got a team that's really motivated to really get involved and dig deep. And they're asking the town to do their share, to have the parks, just to help with the park's success. So how they're asking is with the revenue being generated by Parks and Mission, and we're mostly focusing on non-residents. We don't see that we have a big problem with Town of Hickory Creek residents. The first spreadsheet that's dated May 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 2012 This is a simple comparison of parks revenue between Arrowhead, Point Vista, Sycamore Bend, the Memorial Day weekend of 2012 versus the Memorial Day weekend of 2013. Total revenue over the 4 days for 2012 was $13.31. Total revenue for 2013 was $25.25. One difference there is we lost about $1,000 the Memorial Day weekend when the Arrowhead Ventec machine was down. So that $1,000 loss is $1,000 actually that Parks doesn't realize. We eliminated that problem by making a very smart decision to bring on Art, who is doing a masterful job, in my opinion, and I think the town's opinion, of keeping those machines up to date. I see him out there on Sundays on the side of the road in his church clothes. I followed him from church to go straight out to our parks before. He's doing a good job for us, and we're not missing revenue with people that actually use the machines. Therein lies the problem. Also, you'll see that our day use fees and our annual passes have increased 2012, 1331 over total to 2013 to 2500. We're doing pretty well. The next page is July 4th revenue, 2011 and 2012. What I'm trying to show is a common theme that our parks get used heavily on the holidays, and we don't have any enforcement on the holidays. So let's talk about that. What I mean by enforcement is we have passes for our boat ramp pass and for the day use pass. I put the schedule of fees. The boat ramp pass is $35 annually for a resident, $60 for a non-resident. Day use passes are free to residents. They just have to come get them, or they're $20 for non-residents. Then there's the one-time fee of $10, one-time day use of $2. If you get a parking ticket for not, or a citation for not getting the day use pass, it's a $25 fee, or a $45 fee if you use, if you go ahead and launch your boat, you don't pay the fee. Okay, so we're talking about $25 and $45 tickets. Talked to Officer Starnes about this, and I 100% agree that monitoring our parks on a busy holiday weekend is not their priority. Over the Memorial Day weekend, we had 6 different people going into the parks and counting cars that were not stopping at the Ventec. We easily identified just in the hours between 8 and noon, over 20 people at all 3 parks not paying, just simply going on in with the boat. Okay? I'm not going to tell the chief, hey, pull our guys off of 35, pull our guys off of all the other calls. In this specific case, we were doing a sting operation in conjunction with a bunch of other organizations over at Westlake Park, right? So our guys were over there all weekend. I was out there all weekend. I saw them over there all weekend. So I don't expect them to be at Arrowhead and Point Vista. But if you look at 20 cars times 3 parks times 3 days, where's my notes at? That's a lot of revenue. A lot of revenue. So what we'd like to propose is that we have a town employee pay and propose to pay them overtime. I'm sorry. Now I found my original. So the 20, an estimate of 20 people that aren't paying boat ramp times the $10 is $200 times 3 parks, that's $600 times 3 days, that's $1,800 that we missed out. If we write a couple of $25 tickets, okay, maybe they'll pay it next time. It's not worth pulling the police off of what's more important and doing it. So this is not a witch hunt or a request to ask for more patrolling in our parks and to go write tickets on busy holiday weekends, because I know there's more important things to do. Code enforcement can also write the tickets, but then we'd have to pay our code enforcement officer to be out there overtime on a holiday weekend. Not advocating that, but what I am advocating for is that we gather data this July 4th weekend, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. We gather data about we have a town employee that we pay overtime to introduce people to the Ventec machine that don't know what it is, hand them a park map, welcome them to our parks, and just basically be a customer service agent of this town for this one holiday weekend so we can see if there's a huge revenue spike or not. Once we have that data, we might find that we could afford a part-time code enforcement officer just to work weekends to work in our parks, and it would pay for itself. Not advocating that. Once again, I'm advocating the data. Once we have the data, we'll know what we're really missing. We'll inform our customers, of the proper way to use these machines. Because right now, we're estimating that we're missing quite a bit. So what I'm seeking approval for is, if we had, let's see here, propose that we have manned hours from on July 4th, Thursday, July 6th, July 7th, from 8 to 5 at Arrowhead, Point Vista, Sycamore Bend. And looking at the overtime rates that Christie gave me,
$1,600.
yeah, looking at $1,600 for those 3 days versus $1,800 worth of estimated lost revenue if we go off the Memorial Day stats of just 20 misses per park per day. So it will pay for itself if Memorial Day is just as strong, if this July 4th is just as strong as Memorial Day.
Were they all boat ramps? Were they all boat ramps, or were they day use? Because that makes a big
Yeah, oh,
difference.
absolutely. So what I asked them to do is just go with your family, have a picnic that morning, and walk around and be observant, and just come back and tell me what you see. And they all identified people that were coming in and just parking for day, not skipping the day use, but the bigger picture was the boaters coming in. And they said it wasn't the fishermen at 5 a.m., it was the 8, noon, and 5 o'clock crowd coming in with skis and with their family and just not taking the time to pull over to the Ventec machine. And one of them that I observed at Point Vista Park was one of my neighbors, one of our Boy Scout friends. And hey, you're out here all the time, man. I see you when I'm out in my boat. How come you didn't use the Ventec machine? Just trying to figure out how our parks work. Like, well, I've never been busted. Why should I? that was the response. There's no enforcement. Why should I? So I'm just asking that if we estimate we're losing $1,800 revenue over that 3-day period, and it's going to cost us $1,600 to enforce it, is it worth it to have that data for the future?
What 3 employees have stepped up, volunteered for
Oh,
this?
nobody. I don't want to ask until I got approved. And once again, I don't think that's my job. I think how we staff.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so money comes back in, which usually comes from Ventec to the parks, correct? Town pays the employees, which comes out from this side. So what we're doing is we're budgeting out $1,600 if we have 3 employees that want to do this, right?
Some new information. Thanks, Buzz. This is great.
We won't do $1,600.
Gotcha. What's going
January 1st, 2012 through May 31st, 2012, 38 boat ramp pass citations and 108 day pass citations, generating revenue of $29.44 for the city, not for parks. Is that
Goes into the-
correct?
yeah,
Goes
for
back
the
to parks, not for the
citations.
parks. So that's revenue that could go to parks, but it's good that it went to courts too. I mean, whichever. And then for 6 of 12 through 5/31 of 13, a 1-year snapshot, 173 total, 64 were boat ramp pass, 109 were day pass, for a total of 52. So that tells us that we do have people that are not, using the machines.
So really quick, a few things. I would probably do the Friday between July 4th and the 6th, because I think Sunday they'll be gone, but if you can get the employees to do it, that's just my first thing. A few years ago, 4 years ago, however long it's been, I had the same concern you did, and it was, I thought code enforcement does every other weekend.
They don't no more because she's in the building, so we don't technically have
We don't
Wrong
have
code
code enforcement right now.
At Point Vista, I know at 8 o'clock in the morning, there's cars in there that don't pay. And I look for the stickers, I used to look for them all the time, and they're not in there. So I don't know the answer to it. I mean, you have a good solution if we can get it paid for, but like you just said, all those tickets that were written, which is a lot more than I thought, so that's a good thing. But that all goes back to the town budget, right? Nothing goes back to the parks. Yeah. So the reverse of what we're talking about, you're spending town money, but the money they collect goes back into the parks revenue, which goes back straight to the parks improvements. So
That's what the parks is complaining about, by the town doing their part of helping with their fair share of parks revenue.
me personally, the whole thing, if you can get some data that says, hey, it makes sense to have a part-time person in there to check or collect, it pays for itself, but the money's not generating the right spots. That's the problem. So how do you solve that?
I guess, Chrissy?
I still think, and I've always said this from the beginning, we need to look at putting gates on each Ventec machine. I know it would be a big expense at the beginning, but then you will recoup your revenue. I've said that from the very beginning, that we need to retrofit each machine, since everyone's concerned about losing revenue, put gates on there.
You can't go unless you pay.
Right.
If you have an annual pass, how do you get the gate up?
There would be, I spoke with the gentleman,
Program the machines to accept the passes. I think
It's a
it's
code or
scan-
something?
I think it's a scan
Yes.
code.
Okay. So we would be looking at some sort of a software upgrade, and then hardware would be the,
Circuit board change possibly, or something like that, yeah. And the only one that you would have to move would be Sycamore Bend, of course, because you can't cover that big wide span. You'd have to move it back up to the gate. For Point Vista, you might have to move Point Vista as well, but Arrowhead for sure you could catch it. You know, and that's not,
and maybe you start with Arrowhead.
it's a test plot, you know. You know, we were running citations other than just code enforcement, and we got told that that could happen. If there was another way to, I don't know, you know, we've got somebody in here that works for me on Saturday and Sunday every weekend. Possibly look at,
I know how to control and write animal related tickets, get they
that's what I'm saying, where you have to look at, send her, I don't know
Code
whether,
enforcement's full.
I don't know whether it's only code enforcement, I mean, parking, you know, maybe send them to park, I don't know, that'd be a Lance question. You know, because I know City Denton, they're writing all the parking enforcements, and, you know, they're not, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, there's some other options out there, and also something else, I don't know if you're aware of, Lake Dallas, if you do not pay their city ordinance violations, a $400 ticket for not paying to go in their parks.
Yes.
So, you know, that's something else, get in their pocketbook, if they're not gonna pay.
Well, and I don't know that it's, our citizens, from what I saw, a lot of people that I didn't know, of course, I don't know everybody, but I feel like it's, you know, just people driving down 35 and pulling over.
Well, and keep in mind, I think Highland Village Park will be closed down the road too. That won't be an option for people, and that's gonna probably bring a lot of people up to our parks.
And I haven't even, you know, I didn't even discuss this with my guys, obviously this is gonna be my department manning this. You know, I'm like Paul, I think Friday is gonna be your key Sunday, everybody's gonna be trying to recuperate, go back to work. You know, so I would do it Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And that's even the same as my guys will do it, I'm not gonna get off 3 days.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be here, we're working Friday,
Right.
so that would be, we'll be here Friday.
So that's gonna be a normal hour, I mean,
And if you feel it's value-added activity, you know, if you feel this data that we need, or we just don't worry about it, we just know that we're gonna lose it until we get the gates. And I move forward with getting quotes on the gates, and we look at it on budget time.
We have done this before, probably 5 years ago.
I don't think we actually got the prices though.
No, I'm not talking about the gates.
Oh, yeah,
where
we had somebody, yeah.
The public works employees
That's
actually
awesome.
stood there and collected the funds.
Yeah.
And I want to say,
That's back when what's her name was here, Public Works,
Ramona,
Ramona.
That was
Yeah.
before we even had the bin tax, it was still the
Yeah.
honesty, well,
Yeah, that was
honesty
still
system
the-
now, but it was the
right.
bulk boxes.
but that's when we still had the envelopes. And we had, and there wasn't a big difference there based on probably the time that they were there, from 8 to 5. You know, you got people that come in at 6 to, and then they come in after 5.
Yeah, it was Arrowhead Park. Oh, man.
Okay, what do we want to do on this discussion?
Would a camera be any better than a gate?
I don't think you can go back and enforce that, not being like a video, a train traffic camera, and it
Works on tow tags.
Capture the license plate if every car that goes in there.
Oh,
it's probably a legal question, whether you can,
Chrissy, if I get with one of the parks people and put them on a project to get with you to contact our people who put in the time machines and get quotes for the arms, would you mind working with them, source contact?
It's actually not Ventec, it's the distributor it's the gentleman that came in from Tyler,
Yes, okay.
that came in from Tyler when we originally had some issues. And he was the one, because he actually
hospitals.
has them at hospitals, the Ventec machines with hospitals. And he was saying that we could retrofit it